Good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever the hell you're listening to this. You're listening to Fat Unathletic Nerds Talking Sports, the sports pod with dad bods. This is your host, JackKnife. Alongside me is the Zack Danielz. How you doing, Zachy?
What's going on, JackKnife? I'm doing good. It's been a little while. We're busy, enjoying the summer. But a lot's been happening lately.
Yeah, we're in the dog days of summer now, enjoying whatever we could. I went to Manasquan the other night. Went to Leggett's, I think it was called. Got to see what all the fuss was about that place. They had good pizza. Good pizza.
Leggett's? Really?
Yeah.
You know where I've been lately? I've been doing everything sports related. It's fucking awesome. I had my bachelor weekend. Went to the Phillies. That was a couple weekends ago. Went to see the Phillies beat the shit out of the Mets. That was a fun time. Had a great weekend there with my boys. Appreciate my buddy Devin if he listens to this at all. And yeah, what else? Catherine, my fiance, my lovely fiance, scored free tickets to the Eagles preseason game, and that was my first time at Lincoln Financial Field. Not gonna lie, first Eagles game,
Yeah.
a preseason game, unfortunately, but
Yeah, you were telling me that before, like, we started recording. Like, I genuinely could not believe you've never been to the link before. You're one of the biggest
yeah,
Eagle fans I know, so.
just never made it out. But she copped those free tickets, and preseason or not, don't care. I mean, actually made it
You
more
should
fun
marry
because
her.
I got in. I think I should.
You should marry her. Yeah, I mean,
I think that's already in motion.
yeah, I mean, in November I'm doing something similar. Not my bachelor party, but another buddy of mine's bachelor party. We're going to Columbus, Ohio. Hopefully, see the Rangers beat the hell out of the Blue Jackets. But anyway,
Wow, that's
yep, 8-hour drive. That'll be fun. But anyway, let's get into the topics tonight. First, let's go to the baseball diamond. It's been a few weeks since the trade deadline ended. I mean, the Yankees started playing well. They realized, oh my god, we actually have talent on this roster. Let's start playing like it. And, they've been doing well. They've been winning a lot of their series. They just won a series against the White Sox 2-1. And unfortunately, they lost to that Field of Dreams game, but we'll talk about that later. Right now, they're 5.5 games out of first, 2.5 games out of wild card spot. It's just showing how hard it is to catch the Rays. Winning these series is helpful, but some of them you gotta sweep. Like, you gotta sweep the Royals. Like, I understand, the White Sox are in first place. I can understand not sweeping them. But yeah, you're gonna have to sweep some series if you want to catch the Rays if you're the Yankees.
well, the NL East is or AL East. I'm sorry, the NL East is a joke right now. At least it's a tight race. But when the top team has 62 wins, I mean, you look at the AL East and the Rays are at 71 already, and the fact that the Yankees are 65 and 52 and they're 5.5 games out of first, they're still behind the Red Sox with 69 wins. Like, dude, that division is just stacked. So yeah, I mean, it's funny how you say so nonchalantly that you have to sweep the Royals. Like, like that's what you got to do. And I'm like, as a Phillies fan, it's like just win 2 of 3, please. Just win the series. That's all I need.
Okay, can you imagine if how great of a franchise the Rays would be if they actually had money?
Dude, I cannot believe how they for what has it been like a decade? Like, they keep pumping out at least competitive teams, and it doesn't make any sense.
I they they put out good competitive teams. Like, their scouts, they must have a really freaking good scouting department. But the problem is they're the Rays. They're a poor team and poorer team, and they just can't keep their guys.
Yeah, is what happens,
But yeah,
But
I
uh, uh,
mean,
they're young too. They're pretty young from what I recall. I just it's insane how good they have become all of a sudden. Like last year, I know last year was kind of a an anomaly season with COVID and everything. But I mean, did you really expect them to go to the World Series? Hell no.
no. I mean, and I thought they'd be done after, they let Blake Snell walk, but they're still in first place. Kevin Cash is a hell of a manager. I'm hoping the Yankees could catch them. I saw a great meme. It was, Buzz Lightyear flying with Woody. Buzz us, we missed the truck. We're not aiming for the truck. Yankees, Yankees, we missed the wild card spot. We're not aiming for the wild card spot. But yeah, getting Anthony Rizzo really freaking helped. He's mostly a power hitter, but he does something that, a lot of power hitters don't do. Hit for contact when he needs to. And you know what? They haven't had him the past week or so because he was placed on the COVID IL. But the Yankees stepped up. They're doing well. They won the past few series. And Zach, before we get into the Phillies, I'm sure you want to talk about the Phillies. That Field of Dreams game, I'll tell you right now, if it wasn't the Yankees who came up on the short end there, I'd say that's the best baseball game ever. But, I'm an asshole Yankee fan. I'm going to be like, fuck you. I'd rather...
Dude, I've talked to Yankees fans, and even they were like, that was awesome. Like, the whole from the presentation, the intro.
It was beautiful.
It was so cool to see the ball fly. Oh, by the way, what type of air? What was the weather like in Iowa that these guys are just jacking home runs and mostly to right field? It was weird how. Oh my God! It was just insane. It was perfect how many home runs were hit. And you know what? I've been leaning this way for years too. But I'm gonna get this out of the way. Joe Buck calling football games is awful. It's just bland. It's boring. Joe Buck calling baseball games, I don't know. There's something about it that is it's smooth. No, I like it.
What?
I do. I don't know. I don't know, dude. It makes sense for him calling baseball. Football's a little bit more high contact, faster pace at times, or at least when the play's happening, of course. But I can't stand him calling football.
I can't stand him calling anything. I can't stand him calling anything. I remember 2010 watching him call a Yankees-Tigers game. Mark Teixeira hits a home run off of Justin Verlander. I shit you not. This is what he says. Hit to right field. Way, way back. Goodbye.
Was it a playoff game?
No!
Yeah, it has to be. He does play.
It
wasn't?
No, it wasn't. But let's get back on the Field of Dreams game itself. Seeing the ball flying to the corn, such a beautiful sight. And here's the thing. When it was 7-4, Bree and I were about to fall asleep. We put on Schitt's Creek on Netflix. I hear my phone go da-na-na, da-na-na twice. And I'm like, I guess the game's over. Let me check the score. And then I turn it on. It's 8-4 No, here's the thing. Before I turn it on, I'm like, Bree's joking with me, they're winning now. I turn it on. They actually are winning. She's like, I told you. And she was doing that to mess with me. She did not see the score. But yeah, as soon as, Zach Britton walked, the number 9 hitter, and then had to face Tim Anderson, I was like, we are so fucked. But yeah, I'm glad the MLB is going to do this every year. I hope the Yankees get to go back soon so they can redeem themselves. But what I understand, next year they're probably going to get the Cubs involved, which makes sense. Kind of alternated between the two Chicago teams because those are the local teams there. But MLB, you really want to impress us? Do a Sandlot game.
Dude, yeah, I would love a Sandlot game too, but you can't really have a dog. You can't have a bunch of dogs in left field and whatnot. But
that took place.
I mean,
they filmed
the game.
They filmed that in Utah, apparently.
Oh, really? Wow.
So it would probably have to be a Rockies home game. Yeah, it would probably have to be a Rockies home game.
That's interesting.
I mean,
I don't know how they do that.
That's assuming the MLB even could do anything like that. But anyway,
I know that'd be weird, but
yeah, Field of Dreams, Rob Manfred, you did something right for once. Well, for once. But anyway, Zach, you go on about the Phillies. How you like what you see lately?
Well, they're really weird, but they're at least it looks like they're coming on like a team. I mean, Aaron Nola all of a sudden has fallen off a cliff. He's not his normal ace self. He's not looking like an ace at all, really. But Zach Wheeler should be the Cy Young front runner at the moment. He did have not a great outing recently. But dude, like the guy, I think I'm pretty sure he still leads the entire NL in strikeouts. And Andrew McCutchen, dude, I love Kutch so much as a person, as a player. He's awesome. And like he's having a renaissance year. Like he is just coming back. He tore his ACL 2 years ago. He was pretty good for us when he first joined 2 years ago. Tore his ACL. Last year the COVID year happened. He did not look himself. He was moving a little gingerly. This year, man, he's blowing the doors off the place. Hoskins is out right now, but he was coming on too. JT and Bryce especially. Bryce is having an MVP like season. And, the thing is, they keep getting injuries here and there, little injuries. Guys are out for like a week or two and whatnot. And then we even had a COVID flash. It was weird. This team is so weird, but like all of a sudden they swept the Nationals and then they swept the Mets. They won 8 in a row, which they hadn't done, I think, since 2010. Or it was some really ridiculous long time. And so, it was like, hey, maybe we can do this. Maybe we can take the division. And now they've come back down to earth, but they did. I mean, after that Mets series, they ended up facing the Dodgers and the Reds, who are both very solid. I mean, the Dodgers, one of the best teams in the league, obviously defending World Series champions. Just, it's just, I don't know. Like, I can't tell. The whole NL East is just average right now.
It's like the NFC East.
It really is. Did I say NFC East or did I say NL East? I don't know. It's like both. They're both the same thing to me right now. Because like, I'd say the NFC East last year, the 2020 NFC East for the NFL was way weaker. Like it was actually pathetic seeing how bad these teams were. Like just limping to the finish line. Like at least these teams have winning records, but it's like you look at every other division and like the top team has 72 wins, 76 wins, 71 wins. So like honestly, let me look at this real quick. The Braves are leading the NL East at this very moment, 62 and 56.
Yeah, every standing update we're giving right now is at the time of this recording, which is 9:00 August 16th. So
yes. Yeah, well, they have 62 wins right now, and they would be like third place in almost every division except for the AL Central. They would be second place. Like that's insane. That's insane. Like, and then after that, it just gets worse.
Oh, jeez.
But hey, whatever works. I mean, fuck the Mets. It's funny. It's funny that series where they swept the Mets, man. It was just like poetic.
I was watching when Bryce hit that home run off of Edwin Diaz. And is it me or does Diaz always point to the sky like for any home run he gives up, like thinking it's gonna be some kind of pop up?
Yeah, I don't know, but I love it because it makes it look like he's like pointing to God, like, please take me out the game.
Yeah, but anyway, before we wrap up on baseball, there was something I wanted to say on the Field of Dreams game. That it did make Bree want to watch it. We watched it the next night, and she asked a question about the ending, and she guessed it right, and I was like, I'm not gonna say what it is. God forbid anyone watching this never saw that movie. If you have Peacock, you could watch Field of Dreams right now. Do it. It's an amazing movie. But yeah, she guessed it right. I was so excited, but I couldn't tell her she was right because I didn't want to spoil anything. So.
We don't spoil things here.
All right. Gridiron. Carson Wentz is injured. Again. Or is he? Like, apparently now he might be good to go week 1 or something. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, I mean, they said like, they said it was going to be like a 5 to 12 week recovery, and it's like, oh wow, it's like he's going to play this year or he's not. Like, what is going on? But I think he's recovering pretty well, and they think he's going to be back by week 1.
Yeah, you never know. The Colts could make a trade for with the Bears for a certain quarterback by the name of Nick Foles.
Yo, people brought that up, and I almost cried. Like, that would have been so funny. Honestly, I would have been like, yo, this is so great. I'd feel so bad for Carson. Like, this is just torture. This has to be torture. But, like, at the same time, dude, like, you got to deal with it. You got to deal with it at some point, and these guys are paying you.
Yeah,
You've got to be the starter. If you're going to be the starter, be the starter.
T-Wolves was like, if I'm Carson Wentz and that happens, I just shoot myself at that point. But yeah,
Dude,
you guys need him to play an X amount of games, right, for a better draft pick?
So the way the Eagles actually tie into this, and which is why it's fun. I'll explain this, and then I'll explain how I feel about it. He has to play either 70% of the snaps and they make the playoffs, or 75% of the snaps total. If he does that, the Eagles get a first round pick. If he doesn't do that, either of those things, the Eagles get a second round pick. Now, my thought on this, now you'd think, and the Eagles already have 2 first round picks, by the way, that would give them 3. I don't really care now. I'm over it. I have Jalen Hurts on the Eagles. He's not looked that bad. I saw him at the preseason game, at least a couple plays. Looked pretty professional, like for a guy that just stepped into this and new coaching staff and young wide receivers, very young wide receivers. I don't care about Carson Wentz anymore now.
Yeah,
I do care about that draft pick.
Yeah,
but dude,
you want to surround Hurts with weapons.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, we got rid of the injury-prone quarterback, and like I defended him, and he has bad luck and all this stuff. Apparently, this foot thing he's had since like high school. What? It just comes up out of nowhere. No one really saw it in X-rays in the past and whatnot. And now all of a sudden, here it is. Oh, well, you know what? At least it's not on the Eagles, and I don't have to listen to this, and this is now not some media storm around us. We can focus on Jalen Hurts and our young team, and Devontae Smith, who was injured, but he's back. He's today he was practicing, like, that's cool. We have a bunch of other young guys that I'm telling you, look out for Quez Watkins. If anybody listening to this does fantasy football, watch out for Quez Watkins. Quez Watkins. He's a wide receiver. He was a 5th or 3rd or 5th. He was a late round draft pick for the Eagles last year. The dude is dumb fast, and he went from like 4th string coming into camp. He's now taking reps with the first team. Just saying. And he also had a sick touchdown pass, and everyone was saying Joe Flacco is going to be quarterback number 1. It was a screen pass. Get the fuck out of here, Joe.
Right, that's how your guys did. My guys, the Jets, beat my fiance's team, the Giants, 12-7. I'm not going to rub that in. It's a preseason game. Anyone who brags over preseason wins needs to reevaluate their life. Yeah. Zach Wilson went 6 for 9, 63 yards. Not a sexy total. I didn't see the game. I was at a friend's house because, like I said, we'll probably talk about this later. Preseason games, I really don't care. I just care about how the starters do in preseason games. That's it. My old man was at the game, though. I asked him how they looked. He was like, overall, pretty good on both sides of the ball. Jokingly said, we're going to the Super Bowl. I'm like, not that. But, yeah, good to see Zach Wilson put up, a decent, first game, considering, like, he's been shaky in camp, like reports have said. But that could be because, they're experimenting on some things with him. He is a rookie, after all. And then I heard he had some bounce-back performances at camp. And Josh Johnson, another quarterback on the Jets roster, said that Wilson was making Aaron Rodgers-like throws. That makes me really, really optimistic about him. Anyway, but the Giants, they didn't have Daniel Jones for that game. I don't know why. Is he hurt or something, Zach? Or...
No, he's just sucking so much dick. I think the Giants are afraid to put him out there.
Dude,
I don't know what...
That clip you tagged me in on Twitter. I don't know what...
man. I mean...
Sum it up for anyone who hasn't seen it.
It was basically like just some guy in the stands watching a practice at MetLife, and Daniel Jones dropped back in an 11-on-11 drill, and there was no one over the middle, and he threw the ball over the middle. Like, there was literally only one guy.
To a defenseman. Yeah, to a defender.
Do it. Like I didn't see another. I think there was a guy like 7 yards to the right. Like who was he throwing to?
The the
And
defender.
then it was funny. It was actually like that clip. I think it was like a couple hours later. They said like Daniel Jones and most of the starters were not going to start the preseason game, and I was like, oh my god, I was like, this is too great. This is gold, honestly. But I don't know, man. And then the defender dropped it. By the way, the defender dropped the interception that
Yeah,
was like handed to him.
I don't know what's worse, the fact that Jones made that throw or the fact that he dropped such an easy interception. But I'd probably have to go with the throw because, like, the defender kind of gets off scot-free because he's a linebacker. He's clearly not meant to catch the football.
Well, he threw it to no one. Like,
Come
look,
on.
like I feel like the guy probably dropped it because he was like, holy shit, it's coming directly at me.
Jesus Murphy. That was. I mean, I
Well,
don't
look,
know how the rest of the practice went. I mean, keep in mind that's just one clip. It's a bad throw, but it might.
yeah, well,
Maybe it's
the
not
Giants have
indicative.
had a the Giants have had a very entertaining training camp. Apparently, like 4 or 5 guys like retiring and fights happening, and Joe Judge cussing up storms. But we all know, like people like to say Daniel Jones sucks really bad, and I'm like, I think he only sucks a little bit. I think, like I think there's something there, but it's just not showing at all. Like so, like what would I be intimidated by with that? Like I'm more willing. I really want to see what happens to Saquon Barkley because I was thinking and hoping the guy would be a bust when he came out of college, and he showed that he's very amazing. Just last 2 years, haven't really seen it literally at all. So
I mean, an
I don't know.
ACL injury. So
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens this year. I mean, like then where people, oh, you got injured. Yeah, I know we did. A lot of people get injured. That's what happens. Look
it's
at Carson Wentz.
it's football. That's the sport probably with the most injuries.
Yep.
And
So we'll see what happens with them. But dude, so I have that question then. Let me just like lead this in, Jack. What are your thoughts on preseason games? Do you care at all? Like what's your level?
listen, if I'm at a preseason game, I don't. Would I like the Jets to win? Yeah, but I genuinely don't care. All I care about is are the main guys, the starters, doing their job? Are they doing well? Because if they're not doing well, that could be indicative of how they do that season. But yeah, once the starters are off,
Indicative.
yeah, once a starter, or is it indicative or indicative?
I guess it's I don't I plead the fifth.
Okay, but yeah, like I said, once the first string guys are out, I'm like, all right. What about you?
Yeah, yeah. No, I feel that too. I mean, like, that's the one thing that everyone was praising the Eagles on. Because in general, look, you're a New York fan. I'm a Philly fan. Our media outlets, our resources are like, I mean, even you are like just like, oh, they suck. Oh, they're good.
Yeah,
Oh, they suck. Oh, they're like, there's no middle ground really. But a lot of people like the fact that for the Eagles, coming in, thought they were going to be sloppy, young team, new rookie head coach, whole new coaching staff. That whole first half was like spotless. They no penalties. Players were playing pretty well. I think Ertz dropped the ball, a veteran dropped the ball. Jalen Rager had dropped the ball, but like but Jalen Rager's been looking good in training camp. Like I said, Quez Watkins is this kid who's just balling out in camp. And then I'm telling you, Jack, you got to go look at that clip. Like he took off. Like this kid is fast. He's a burner.
send it to me.
He took
After we wrap up recording, send it to me. So
Yeah, you got it was perfect. But like that was just that's really what it comes down to. You want to see how the starters look and how the coaches look and what, is everything crisp. Like a lot of times it's sloppy, especially the second half. The Eagles in the second half, they lost the game. They gave up like a 10-point lead. And it was all, it's all the third and fourth string guys that are trying to make a practice squad even,
yeah.
So yeah, I don't, I don't put much stock in them.
Yeah, I mean, especially in the last week of the preseason, like because you won't see a single starter there. At most, you're figuring out who your backups are. Anyway, we tried to like keep up with basketball. Like I mean, at the very least, I haven't done great with it. I don't know about you, Zach, but Russell Westbrook did go to the Lakers. We did talk about that last time we were here, but now joining him is Carmelo Anthony, also going to the Lakers.
Wait,
So,
really?
yeah, Carmelo Anthony's on the Lakers now.
When the fuck did that happen?
Like last week or so. Hold on. Yeah, Google it. He's on the Lakers now.
Well, I'll be damned.
Yep. And
I had no idea that happened.
I guess his best days are way behind him. I bet he's thinking, all right, this is my best shot for a ring now. So because that's really the only thing. That's really the only thing he hasn't had in his career, a championship. So
yeah. Got to jump on the ship for the chip.
Yeah, the Lakers are the latest example of what Bill Burr will call a pile-on team. But anyway, the Knicks added some depth. Some names I don't know, and then Kemba Walker. I don't know.
I'll tell you this right now. I really like Kemba, and people were saying like, oh, he's coming back home because he had just the nastiest step back jumper to win. I believe it was like the Big East Championship or something in college a while back. He's been in the league for forever now.
Yeah, he played at UConn, and he's from the Bronx.
Oh, okay, so he really is from New York. I didn't know that, but I knew he went to UConn.
Yeah,
and I think UConn is just
I think he's dominant from the Bronx. Team. I think he's from the Bronx. He's definitely from New York, one of the New York City areas. But I just think I heard on the radio he's from the Bronx. So if I'm wrong in that, don't kill me. But yeah, I mean, Knicks making some moves. They hold on, I'm trying to bring up the roster right now, and then there's freaking pop-ups coming up. Have the Sixers done anything, Zach?
They're bringing back like the same team, and they got like Andre Drummond, who literally got into a Twitter war with Joel Embiid like a couple years ago. Like the only thing anyone is doing is the Ben Simmons watch. Like he's apparently not communicating to anyone. He doesn't want to be there. Daryl Morey's trying to trade him, but I think what Daryl Morey is actually doing because of his contract it's just so big, and because of his performance in the playoffs, I think he's given out like these ridiculous like trade packages. Like he's asking for like 3 firsts, a second, and like 2 players every time someone asks about like Ben Simmons, and people are like, nah. We want a guy that can shoot. If we're gonna do that, like he's literally elite at everything else. He just doesn't shoot. He doesn't do the main thing in the sport. What the fuck? Like, I think Daryl Morey is just like trying to bring him back down to earth by like shooting, like giving all these ridiculous trades and be like, see, dude, you're not that hot. Like you're gonna stay here and you're gonna work on your shot because that's what you're being paid to do.
Yeah, and now they got the roster up. The Knicks also gave a 4-year extension to Julius Randle. I mean, he was obviously their most improved player this year, and he earned it. I just hope for the Knicks' sake he can continue his hot play. I think the Knicks have a much better team than they were this last year. So,
well, look, if you're a Knicks fan, dude, I'll tell you what. After this year, I saw a lot of them. I think it's time to get back into it because I feel like LeBron James's years are winding down, definitely, and it's going to be a wide open. It's going to be a wild west when he's out. It's who's going to step up when that happens, and the Knicks are building a team. Dude, they re-signed Derrick Rose. Yeah. Bro, Derrick Rose was so clutch for them last year. It was ridiculous. Honestly,
just think he's younger than Steph Curry. People forget that.
Yeah, man.
The injuries ruined his career.
It's insane to think that his career is ruined right now, and he's like Kutch. Like I said for the Phillies, Rose is having like a renaissance. He had a renaissance year last year. Like he proved he can still go.
Yeah, yeah, he's done well no matter where he's gone, and he kind of made a new home for himself in New York. He had the connection with Tom Thibodeau, who Thibodeau I believe coached him also in Minnesota, if I'm not mistaken, right?
I don't recall that. I know that he was the Bulls team though, and that was the time when Derrick Rose was Derrick Rose. Like D Rose was MVP D Rose, and he was one of the most electrifying players to watch. Like it was, he was so much. He was my favorite player. He was honestly when he was at his prime, my favorite player to watch. It was easy.
Absolutely. And let's see. No. Oh wow, Thibodeau used to coach the Knicks in their. Oh no, he was an assistant coach for the Knicks in like the late '90s, early 2000s. Oh, so he coached Rose when he was in Chicago. You just said.
Yeah, right. What wasn't he there?
Yeah, 2010 to 2015. Didn't know that.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Derrick Rose was there.
Well, I'm on Basketball Reference right now. Hold on, let me see. Derrick Rose. Yep, yep. He was there. Yep,
That's what I thought.
exactly. But yeah, Knicks. Things are looking up for them for once. Maybe now that Dolan's distracted by the Rangers. But speaking of the Rangers.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Rangers, time for me to take control, Zach, because you still don't know a damn thing about hockey yet. Keyword yet.
Well, no, listen, it's the fact of so much, and like you hear me talk about football and baseball and all these things. It's after years and years of watching it, NBA too. I mean, I'm glad I got back into it, but I used to love NBA as well. But yeah, like hockey, I don't know the ins and outs of it. The contract talk and who's good, who's not, who needs what. I don't know the sport as well, so I
Well,
will let you take the floor. I'm going to find something to drink because my mouth is getting dry. So, have a great listen, FUNTS folks. I'll be back in just a little bit.
all right. Yeah, I'm probably not going to cover every last little thing when it comes to, the moves made lately, but, I'll try to cover as much as I can. Goalies Igor Shesterkin of the New York Rangers and Carter Hart of the Philadelphia Flyers. Each one of them have received contract extensions. Igor Shesterkin, 4 years, $5.6 million, which is a pretty good deal for the Rangers and for Igor, considering he hasn't really had a big sample size. Like, he's just started playing for the team last year, and he's been very good in his, brief stint with the Rangers. So it was kind of a tricky thing for the Rangers to do, like, as far as an extension goes. But I think 4 years, $5.6 million, pretty good for Igor and the Rangers. They got him for another 4 years. They'll get some more good performances out of him in the years to come. Meanwhile, Carter Hart, on the other hand, also earned an extension. Well, I don't know if earned is necessarily the right word, considering last year was probably the worst year of his career. You could refer to any one of our previous podcasts when Brick was on. Carter Hart, for lack of a better term, kind of shit the bed in some areas. He got a 3-year, $3.9 million extension. Hart must have known like he probably didn't have much of a bargaining chip when it came to the extensions. But both Igor and Carter Hart were restricted free agents, so the odds of them going anywhere else, unless it was a trade, were extremely unlikely. And those guys' names were just not part of any trade rumors whatsoever. Anyway, to Long Island, Adam Pelech got a 7-year, $5.7 million extension from the New York Islanders. I mean, fans look at him as a very solid two-way defenseman that hasn't really peaked yet on the offensive side, whereas on the defense, he's showing just how good he can be. I'm sure Big Red is very happy about that extension. The Islanders have a very solid defensive core. They're doing pretty damn well at keeping that core together. Sorry, who is that? LeMahieu? Sorry, Zach. I'm also watching the Yankee game, and LeMahieu just got caught stealing third. Way to go, idiot. But
Are they still winning?
still winning. But,
That's good for my bet.
Anyway, Cal McCarr got earlier this offseason, if I'm not mistaken, got an extension with a $9 million cap hit. And hold on, I'm also texting my fiance, making sure she doesn't fall asleep on me. Know when you're tired. Okay.
You're doing great.
But anyway, which makes absolute. Anyway, McCarr got an average of $9 million a year, which makes sense for him. He didn't win the Norris. Adam Fox won the Norris. Fox will probably get a very similar contract next year. Completely understandable. And McCarr is absolutely worth that $9 million. But one move that I'm just scratching my head is the Edmonton Oilers signed Darnell Nurse to a contract extension. I don't remember how many years it was, but it was an average cap hit of $9.25 million. I saw that. I'm like, wait, what? I mean, don't get me wrong. Darnell Nurse is a decent hockey player. He's a good hockey player. Is he worth the Victor Hedman, Adam Fox, or Cal McCarr type money? Absolutely not. Let's see how long they signed him till the end of 2030, and yeah, he's 26. By the time that contract's over, he'll be like 35 or so. But he's just not worth that kind of money. I talked to my good friend DJ Sabedo, who played hockey at William Patterson, probably the smartest guy I know when it comes to hockey. And the guys from Spit and Chicklets like this deal, but I talked to DJ. I'm like, hey, what do you think of this deal? It's horrific. And these are his words. Horrific. He's a below average D. I don't know if I go that far. He really doesn't do much but eat minutes and get some cheap points. Because he does play on the same team as Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. I mean, he's a guy that, he could play very physical for you. He could eat minutes, probably block some shots too, maybe fight every once in a while. Like, he's gotten a few scraps. I'm sure Connor McDavid loves that. But he doesn't make the type of plays that a Cale McCarr or Adam Fox would. So maybe, if anything, Nurse would be like maybe worth $7 million or $6 million or so. Maybe that's kind of reaching if you're me or a hockey fan, but I have a feeling this contract's really going to come back to bite the Edmonton Oilers. So anyway, other local hockey team, the Devils, signed Tomas Tatar. Not a signing that's going to absolutely put them into elite contention, but absolutely adds depth. Tatar's been a very good player for years. Still no word or move for Jack Eichel, but all the rumors are saying the camps are upset. Both camps are upset, both Jack and the Sabres. But, Steve Valiquette, an analyst for MSG Network, has also played for the Rangers for a little bit. He's kind of stirring the pot when it comes to Jack Eichel rumors. Like, he posted a picture of himself in his goalie mask. Steve Valiquette's goalie mask had like a Spider-Man design on it. He posted a picture of it saying, "My spidey senses are tingling. #free Jack." It's like, okay, does he know that the Rangers are about to make a trade for Jack Eichel? And again, the Rangers really should be careful when it comes to this. Because Jack Eichel absolutely is a talented player, but you don't want to give up Mika Zibanejad for him. Because the goal is to have that 1-2 punch at center. You don't want to give up a Kakko or a Lafreniere. You really don't want to give up on, these young guys that are on their team right now. Me personally, this is just me as a Rangers fan. I'd probably send them like Ryan Strome, a defensive prospect, and probably Braden Schneider, a first-round pick, maybe Philip Hedl or Morgan Barron to sweeten up the deal, see if that makes Buffalo bite. But you know what? Don't send away too much talent. You got all these great young assets. Don't throw them all away. You know what I'm saying, Zach?
Yeah. Well, hey. I heard you guys talking about Jack Eichel all year long. So that's just, I guess he's highly touted for.
Yeah, I mean, Jack Eichel, he's like we talked about the last time. He had the herniated disc surgery. So a doctor went on the 31 Thoughts podcast. That's a Sportsnet podcast, if I'm not mistaken. Don't sue me, I'm wrong. But yeah, a doctor said like the surgery Jack Eichel wants to get, like he'd be ready to go come October. But Buffalo doesn't want him to get it because I don't know, it might be risky or something along those lines. But yeah,
What?
I don't know. I'm not. Don't quote me on that because I don't have it right in front of me. I told you about the
Trust me, I'm a doctor.
Trust the science. But we talked about it a lot. We talked about it last time. I think the bridge is burning for Jack Eichel. No, I don't think the bridge is burning. Like we know at this point, yeah, that bridge is burnt to a crisp between Jack Eichel and the Sabres. He could very well play for them next year, but you know what? It's very safe to say he might not finish the year there. He's definitely not going to finish his career there.
Damn.
Yeah.
Well.
And Saturday.
Well, do you think the Sabres are the Sabres? So are the Sabres getting any better, or do they still just suck as much dick?
The latter. That franchise just has no direction whatsoever. And here's the thing: one of the things the Rangers or any other team that might be interested in Eichel knows is that they have no leverage because Jack wants to get the fuck out of there. And yeah, it's like, yeah, we're not sending you all these prospects. You're giving us Jack for a bag of pucks. Not really, but yeah, Jack very well could just be like, I refuse to play for you. But yeah, it's a messed up situation. It's a messed up situation. But anyway, sadder news on the hockey front. Legendary goaltender Tony Esposito has passed away. He was 78 years old. Played most of his career with the Chicago Blackhawks. Won the Vezina Trophy 3 times. Was a 5-time All-Star. Didn't win a Stanley Cup, but was a Hall of Famer. 10th all-time in wins by a goalie with 423. And was the younger brother of Phil Esposito, who, if you're a hockey fan, he needs no introduction. So yeah, rest in peace, Tony Esposito. Hell of a life, hell of a career.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Anyway, that's pretty much it as far as, 4 major sports. The Vipers hockey video should be coming soon. I mean, well, the Vipers hockey video coming soon is kind of sounding like when COVID ends. Yeah, Steve had a little family emergency, and we kind of had some drama the last game that might have delayed it even further. So,
oh boy.
Yeah, we'll let Steve talk about it next time he comes on. But
I can't wait.
Yeah. But anyway, we got some other news regarding other stuff we're doing. Oh, God damn it, Sam. I saw Stanton swing. I heard the crowd go crazy. I was hoping he just hit a home run, but nope. End of the 8th, they're going to the top of the 9th. All right. Anyway, we got a fantasy football league.
What's the news? Yes, let's go. Let's do a fantasy football league, fellas. Let's get a fantasy football league going. We have, from what I'm counting, looking like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people involved right now, including my friends from a wrestling group that I'm in on Facebook called That's What We Do. Shout out to Logan Howell, Drew Highsmith, and Josh Blum. Those are the boys. They're going to be in the Fantasy Football League, the first ever Fat Unathletic Nerds Talking Sports Football League. I'm going to be the commissioner. I will see if Jack, you want to be one, if Brick wants to be one, anyone wants to jump in and help out. I don't think it's going to be that complicated, but we're looking for about 4 more people. Is Bree going to be in?
The lovely Brienne is undecided at the moment. I mean, I texted her. That was one of the things I was texting her before, and she sent me the emoji of herself, of the thinking emoji. Because she knows.
Well, we don't do undecideds around here. Okay, you're either in or you're out.
Oh, but
So make the choice, Bree.
Yeah, I'll be making sure, Brie. I'll be making sure you succumb to peer pressure. You hear that? You're gonna succumb to peer pressure.
She's not listening to this at all. So anyway, it looks like we're either gonna have 3 or 4 spots open. Whatever Bree decides. So we're gonna have 3 or 4 spots open. I have to figure out how we can get some people in. But if you were listening to this, you very well could be in this league. And I will give out information. We plan on doing the draft on September 1st. It is a little more than a week before the first NFL regular season game, and it's also a day or two after the last preseason game.
Yeah, so that
gives you time. You have the full rosters going. You got all the cuts out of the way. Injuries should not happen in between that week unless something freak happens at a practice. But so that's what we're going to be doing, and we plan on having. It's not a money league, all right. We're all saving money for something here, and also we live in New Jersey. Shit is expensive, but we will have a trophy.
Do you have it on you right now, Zach?
I do not have it on me right now. We're going to get a trophy, and that will be the prize for the first ever Fat Unathletic Nerds Talking Sports Fantasy Football League champion.
Oh, and I cannot wait for that to start. I can't wait for the draft. Breathe easy during this draft, considering, you won't draft someone and then, week 3 of the preseason, they tear their ACL, because that's happened to me before. It still won the championship that year. Just saying. But anyway, if you made this far, thank you very much for listening. Be sure to follow us on all our social medias at FUNTS Podcast on Twitter and Instagram, and at Fat Athletic Nerds Talking Sports on Facebook. Be sure to subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. This is JackKnife alongside the Zack Danielz. Have a wonderful night, everyone.
Peace out, brothers.